Hello class, today we are doing a review and we're remembering how to use the distance formula and what triangle mid-segments mean. So, how do I find missing measures of segments or in triangles is our essential question. Learning intention. I am learning to find the missing measures of segments and of the mid-segments and missing measures. So those would be angle measures. Okay. So, find all the angle measures. We're going to assume that Q is parallel to M. So pause the video and see how many of those missing angle measures you can find. Well, I hope you try it on your own. Let's start going through. For number 1, what do I know? What do I see? And how do you use that? Well, you see a straight line. A straight line has 180 degrees. If this one's 110, how much is remaining for angle 1? 180 degrees minus 110 degrees will give me 70 degrees. Same thing happens here. But now it's 115 degrees with another angle forms this straight line. So 180 minus 115 . Okay, so 80 minus 15 would give me 65. Okay, without any math at all, I know the next two angles. We're looking at corresponding angles. If this is 65, this one is also 65 degrees. If this is 115 degrees, this one is also 115 degrees. Okay, that leaves these on this side. So I have to think harder. Okay, what do I know and how am I going to use that? Well, I see I have a triangle. Triangle sum theorem tells me the angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. If this one's 70 and this one's 65, what remains for the last angle? So 180 minus 70 minus 65, and I get 45 degrees. Okay, I know the other two without any math at all. If 7 is 45, then 6 is also 45 because they're vertical. If 7 is 45, 5 is also 45 because they are corresponding. So by using the fact that you've got a line and the fact you've got a triangle, you can find all those angles plus the fact you've got parallel lines. So everything builds off of the previous knowledge we have. So you have to always think about your relationships. A reminder, the mid-segment says that 2 times the mid-segment equals your base, or the mid-segment is equal to half of the base divided by 2. So the first thing we have to do is to find x. If I'm looking at this, I'm not going to try to take 1/2 of an x because that just doesn't make any sense. So the one I want to use is the first equation. 2 times this will equal this. Two times the quantity of x minus 3 is equal to x plus 6. Distribute. 2 times x is 2x, minus 2 times 3 is 6, is equal to x plus 6. Okay, to solve, I'm going to subtract x from both sides. X minus 6 is equal to 6. I'll add 6 to both sides. X is equal to 12. Okay, so let's do the math. This will be 12 plus 6, which is 18. This will be 12 minus 3, which is 8, or 18 divided by 2 is 18 divided by 2 is 9. This is 12 minus 3, which is 9, or 18 divided by 2 is 9, whichever way you see it. These two are equivalent, so this one is also 18. I found all those missing measures. Okay, what about all the angle measures? Well, this one is 95, and this one is 55. Okay, without any math at all, I know another angle. Because these lines are parallel, these are corresponding angles, and they are the same. Using triangle sum theorem, the interior angles sum to 180 degrees. 180 degrees minus 55 degrees minus 95 degrees is equal to 30 degrees. So this one's 30 degrees, and this one is also 30 degrees. Once again, we have corresponding angles. So as you're looking at this, everything is based off of relationships. Start remembering the relationships, and you will be able to solve all these problems. If you're still struggling, back up the video and watch the first page again. Okay, distance formula. X sub 2 minus x sub 1 quantity squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 quantity squared. You square root the whole thing and you have your distance. It is based off of the Pythagorean theorem. So as I'm looking at this, I can call either one of my points point 1 and point 2. It does not matter. So if this is x1, x2, y2, and x1, y1, then what I am looking at is my distance is equal to the square root of negative 15 minus 9 quantity squared plus negative 8 minus 4 quantity squared. So what I'm going to do is to find out what this number underneath is. Negative 15 minus 9, close it and square it, plus parentheses negative 8 minus 4, close it and square it, and you've got 720. The square root of 720 is not a whole number, so I know I've got to simplify that radical. For those of you that do not remember how or have never been good at it, let's see an easy process. We've got to figure out how many pairs of factors are in 720. So I'm doing what we call a factor ladder. It's kind of like flipping it upside down when you're dividing. So is it even? 2 is our smallest prime number. Yeah. So I can divide by 2. 720 divided by 2 gives me 360. 360 is even. So in my calculator, I'm going to divide it by 2 again. I get 180. 180 is even. Divided by 2, I get 90. 90 is even. Divided by 2, I get 45. 45 is not even. Can I divide it by 3? 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 is divisible by 3. So 45 is divisible by 3. I get 15. 15 is divisible by 3. I get 5. 5 is prime. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. When you hit 1, it's done. 720 divided by 2 is 360. 360 divided by 2 is 180. 180 divided by 2 is 90. 90 divided by 2 is 45. 45 divided by 3 is 15. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 is prime. How many pairs do we have? We have a pair of 2's, we have a second pair of 2's, and we've got a pair of 3's. So our distance is equal to 2 times 2 times 3 square root of 5. 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. Our distance is equal to 12 square root of 5. Our distance is approximately 26.83. Now, we cannot say it's equal because we've rounded. This is your actual length. This is your approximated length. So let's find the length of this segment that's on the Cartesian plane. Step 1 would be what? Well, there's 2 ways you can do it. I'll show you the way that most students would do. Find your endpoints. So this first endpoint would be -3, -3. And this one will be 1, 1. X2 and at Y2. And X1 and Y1. So I'm going to set it up. -3 minus 1 squared plus -3 minus 1 squared. -3 minus 1 is -4. -4 squared is 16. 16 plus 16 is 32. Okay, this 32 we know is not a perfect square. So once again, we have to do the ladder factoring, and then we will have our exact length. Divide it by 2, you get 16. Divide it by 2, you get 8. Divide by 2, you get 4. Divide by 2 again, you get 2. 2 is prime. 1 and done. So I've got 2 factors of 2. 2 times 2, square root of 2. So our distance is exactly 4 square root of 2. 4 square root of 2 is approximately 5.66. Now you might ask me, what's the other way to do it? Well, we just find our lengths. We create a right triangle, and we see that this length is 4, and this length is 4. And then we do the same thing we did here. 4 squared plus 4 squared would be 16 plus 16, which is 32. And we start the process all over again. Okay, so I know I'm successful when I can find missing measures of a triangle and its midsegment and apply the distance formula. Midsegments and the distance formula.